Hola amigos, ¿cómo están? Today we are going to dive into a new perspective on one of the most common challenges for Spanish learners. And I am talking about the difference between the verbs ser and estar. Whether you are a beginner or conversational speaker, I recommend watching the entire video. I'll share with you a quick and effective tip that will help you master both verbs, ser and estar. I will also give you some practice, some exercises at the end of the video, so stick around because I am sure this video will help you a lot. Vamos! Okay, let's get to the most important point right away. For this, we need to begin with the verb estar. The Spanish verb estar comes from the Latin word stare. Stare means to stay or to stand. And from this Latin word, we get two English words. The word status and the verb to stay. Estar, status. Estar, to stay. Estar, status, estar, stay. Estar, status, estar, stay. Thinking about these connections makes it easier to understand how the verb estar works. We are going to use the verb estar to describe the status of something, whether temporary or permanent. And we are going to use the verb estar for location, to describe where something is located, to describe where something stays. Okay, now let me explain to you the same concept, but this time we are going to use some examples. Ejemplo 1. Estoy feliz. Estoy feliz. Yo estoy feliz. Status. That's my status. I'm happy. Right now. Later on, that could change. I could be sad, I could be nervous, etc., etc. Right now, estoy feliz. Ejemplo 2. ¿Estás nervioso? ¿Estás nervioso? Even the question ¿Cómo estás? Is a good example of the verb estar. Because if we ask somebody, hey, ¿cómo estás? We are asking what's the status of this other person. We don't ask ¿cómo eres? Using the verb ser. We say ¿cómo estás? Otro ejemplo. El café está caliente. El café está caliente. Caliente is the status of café. It could change later on. It's a temporary status, yes. So, caliente. We say, el café está caliente. We don't say, el café es caliente. Y otro ejemplo más. La puerta está cerrada. La puerta está cerrada. We won't say, la puerta es cerrada. We say, la puerta está cerrada because cerrada is the status of the puerta. It could change anytime. So we use the verb estar. La puerta está cerrada. Now pay close attention to this example. La comida está quemada. La comida está quemada. Quemada is the status of comida, but it's a permanent status. We can't change it. We can't undo the status of quemada, burnt. We can't get the comida back to what it was before. Even though it's a permanent status, we will use the verb estar. And that's the tricky part. Because you could mistakenly think this way. Okay, quemada is a permanent description, so I should use the verb ser and say la comida es quemada. But no, we don't say la comida es quemada. We will say la comida está quemada. Otro ejemplo. El vaso está roto. El vaso está roto. Roto is the status of vaso. We can't undo that. It's a permanent status. We can't put the vaso all together again and make it look like new. So it's a permanent status, and even though it's a permanent status, we need to use the verb estar. We won't say el vaso es roto. We say el vaso está roto. Y otro ejemplo. La manzana está podrida. La manzana está podrida. It's rotten. La manzana está podrida. Podrida is the status of manzana. Even though we can't undo that status, we can't reverse that status, we are going to use the verb estar. La manzana está podrida. We don't say la manzana es podrida. Okay, and here's another quick thing to keep in mind, and something that I have seen in many students. Just because the word is sounds like es in Spanish does not mean that we will always use es. Every time we have is in English, we will always use es. No, that's not the case. Spanish is not that simple. Maybe people who don't follow this channel think like this. Oh, if it's is in English, it must be es in Spanish. But you know better than that. So if you are learning something new, please subscribe to this channel and click on the thumbs up. Me gusta. So remember, estar, status. Estar, status. And you know what? This is why we use the verb estar with ongoing actions in Spanish. Sentences like, yo estoy estudiando. Estudiando, that's my status right now. That's what I'm doing at this moment. Carlos está esperando el bus. Esperando, ongoing. That's his status right now. Carlos está esperando el bus. Está lloviendo. That's the status. Lloviendo, that's what's going on right now. Ongoing actions also take the verb estar. Okay, now like I said at the beginning of this video, we are going to use the verb estar for the status of something or to describe where something stays, location. We are going to use the verb estar to describe where something is located. Where something is located permanently or temporarily. Ejemplo 1. Estoy en mi casa. Estoy en mi casa. Location. We won't say soy en mi casa. Estoy en mi casa. Otro ejemplo. París está en Francia. París está. Location. París está en Francia. We won't say París es en Francia, even though in English we say Paris is in France, right? We know that if it's is in English, doesn't mean that it will be for sure es in Spanish. Even the question ¿dónde estás? ¿Dónde estás? ¿Dónde tú estás? Is a good example. We are using the verb estar to find out where you are staying right now. Finally, the verb ser. Much easier now. Ser describes identity, the essence, the inherent qualities of the subject. Think of it as answering the question, what is this at its core? And we can break it down into smaller groups. Nationality, origin, the verb ser. Ejemplo, yo soy de Perú. ¿Y tú? ¿De dónde eres? Mis amigos son de Colombia. Mis amigos son de Colombia. Otro ejemplo, mi carro es de Japón. Mi carro es de Japón. What you do for living, your occupation, will also go with the verb ser. Yo soy profesor de español. Carlos es arquitecto. Tú eres estudiante de español. The verb ser will be used to describe time and date, hora y fecha. Por ejemplo, son las 2:30 de la tarde. Son las 2:30 de la tarde. Hoy es 3 de enero del 2025. Hoy es 3 de enero del 2025. Mi cumpleaños es el 15 de abril. Mi cumpleaños es el 15 de abril. ¿Y tu cumpleaños cuándo es? Otro ejemplo, ¿qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? Some people will say ¿qué horas son? But that's just fine. ¿Qué horas son? ¿Qué hora es? Basically the same. We also use the verb ser to describe family members, permanent description. Por ejemplo, María es mi hermana menor. María es mi hermana menor. Otro ejemplo, yo soy el hermano de Carlos. Yo soy el hermano de Carlos. And last but not least, we are going to use the verb ser to describe permanent physical characteristics. Por ejemplo, yo soy alto. Yo soy alto. Otro ejemplo, mi hermano es muy tímido. Mi hermano es muy tímido. Okay, a tricky question for you now. If I would like to tell someone, hey, you are smart, you are intelligent, what should I say? Should I say tú eres inteligente or tú estás inteligente? They both mean or translate into English as you are intelligent. But what do you think? Should I say tú estás inteligente or tú eres inteligente? If you said tú estás inteligente, that sounds like, hey, you're smart right now. That's your status. Who knows what's going to happen later on? But if you say tú eres inteligente, you're telling someone, hey, you are smart. You're a smart person. Alright, if you have learned something good in this video, please click on the thumbs up, me gusta, and subscribe to this channel. Okay, now I have a short quiz for you here. I am going to show you 5 sentences with a blank space that you will need to complete with the right conjugation of the verbs ser or estar. And feel free to leave your answers in the comment section below. Feel free to push pause here to read the sentences and take your time to answer, ¿ok? Como siempre, yo soy Giancarlo y yo apruebo este mensaje. Hasta luego.